We are back. Where from? Well, just from last month.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Jay, joined by Faye. Hello, Faye.
Hi.
I feel like I've left my brain on the other side of the Forbidden Door today, which is fitting because we're going to be talking about Forbidden Door.
It was so long ago. Like
It really
it
was, and it was 10
wasn't.
days.
I I know, but
It was
it just
10 days ago
feels
from us recording this.
it feels like an entire world away though. Like
Uh, Yeah, it does because loads has happened, like so fucking much.
it
Um,
hasn't stopped, has it? Like it's been like
I I feel like though AEW have been on like a fucking different level in the last like 3 weeks.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Jesus
absolutely.
Christ, it's been everything's been fucking brilliant. Um, as someone who was, I wouldn't say I was becoming a bit disenfranchised with AEW, but I was a like
Jaded.
little bit jaded, and then especially because they keep going on about like restoring the feeling, and there was all shit that was like, this is fine,
For the
and then
sickos. TM.
I, well, and then obviously, like the last 3 weeks has happened. It's like, all right, yeah, like, hey, I'm fucking
It really
around.
was for the sickos.
It really fucking was. But let's get straight into this because I want to just skim through Forbidden Door so we can talk about all the stuff. Um, so first of all, we had the pre-show on Forbidden Door. I'll do this really
It was
quick.
very good.
It was, but Carl Fletcher murdered Serpentico with a brainbuster. Ah! Um, he
Shut
was
up,
angry.
Lucas.
He was angry after losing his ROH TV title to Atlantis Jr. Um, which makes me think there's bigger things coming for Kyle Fletcher if he's losing his belt.
Wild that they
Um,
changed it on a different show as well, like not even on Ring of Honor.
they never changed belts on Ring of Honor. Don't worry about it. Otherwise people wouldn't know the titles changed. Um, we had a four-way tag team match, which was brilliant, which was the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King, my boys coming out to the music. Um, Private Party, Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii, and Gabe Kidd and Roderick Strong in probably the most unhinged tag team I've seen in quite some
It was
time.
wild, wasn't it?
This match was fantastic. There was a lot of murder. Private Party were basically just there to be thrown around by the bigger lads, but
Yeah,
also
screaming
did some
Isaiah noses.
but also did some very cool stuff. Match ended when Brody King also Brody King now wants to murder Gabe Kidd. He keeps saying about it on Twitter.
Good.
Uh, yes, please.
Yeah.
Um, Also Brody King and Ishii need the singles match because that'd be fun. Um, yeah, Brody King picked up the win with a Gonzo bomb on Isaiah Cassidy, which looked like an actual crime. Um, it was deeply distressing, but I enjoyed it a
Yeah.
lot. We had a Stardom slash AW sort of like showcase match. Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano defeating Momo Watanabe and Chris Statlander. This was great.
It
It
was.
was mainly mainly put like eyes on the Stardom talent. Willow and Chris, obviously, with their storyline, do sort of
It
like
made it felt like a massive deal though, like how like the Stardom girls didn't feel like it was like, oh, it's and the Stardom girls. No, I thought they were
yeah.
really good.
I thought it was brilliant the way they give them more of a showcase for people who aren't familiar with them. So
Hmm.
obviously then we got so then like when Willow and Chris were involved, like it felt like they weren't just sort of and these people with them. It felt like
Exactly. Yeah.
an actual tag match. Yeah, that
Literally.
was great. We had the first round of the women's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament, which we'll be talking about more in a bit. Mariah May defeating Saraya, thank God.
I
I
was made
was
up about that. Like that gave me
I
life.
was I was terrified that Saraya was going to beat Mariah. I had
Yeah.
so much fear. But yeah, Mariah won and progressed to the next round. And the final show, the pre-show, which again was fantastic, was a six-man tag, Mystico and the Lucha Brothers versus LIJ, which was the team of Titan, Yota Tsuji, and Hiromu Takahashi. Um, the Mystico and Lucha Brothers won by submission when Mystico hit La Mystica on Titan. Easy for me to say. After the match as well, Mr. Go challenged Penta to a match, which, yes, please.
A lot of fun.
Need that. Mystico's doing like so many random matches. Like he's wrestling Jericho as well at some point. He's wrestling Penta.
Doing bits, isn't he?
He's doing fucking loads.
Yeah.
But good because we need that Mystico redemption tour after. Well, don't worry about it. We'll get to the main show now. So opening match, MJF defeated Hechicero. This was fine. Did what it needed to do.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen a bit more out of Hechicero, but it did what it needed to do, as I say.
He'd wrestled a lot recently as well, though, hadn't he? Like,
yeah, well, I'm going to be seeing him wrestle in person all in weekend.
Trying not to think about it, that I'm sad that I'm not going.
Against Sheppy Zach.
Sad times.
It's gonna be so many pretzels getting made that day.
All the Mexican pretzels.
The Elite team of Kazuchika Okada and the Young Bucks defeated Tanahashi and the Acclaimed. Again,
this was okay. Like
this was fine.
Yeah.
Tanahashi, bless his little cotton socks.
I know.
That high fly flow was like heartbreaking.
I just think like it needs to like. I love Tanahashi, but I just think he needs to be a president now.
Well, we'll get onto that in a bit as well. Next up, we had in the first round of the men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup, Bryan Danielson defeating Shingo Takagi.
This was so good.
Incredible. This was up there for match of the night for me.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there was a lot to choose from. But yeah, this was exactly what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Shingo beat the living shit out of Bryan. Bryan ended up beating Shingo by locking him in a arm breaker, and Shingo basically passed out. And yeah, it was just brilliant. Like they beat the living fuck out of one another.
He couldn't even move though. Like he had to like verbally tap.
Well, he didn't tap. He passed out.
Oh, did he?
It was referee stoppage. It wasn't submission. Because there was a big thing on Twitter about it where Chris Charlton was like, "I've been told that Shingo lost by stoppage, not submission." Obviously, to protect Shingo, but yeah. After that, we had the AEW Women's World Championship. Tony Storm.
This gave me so much love.
I love this. Tony Storm with Luther and Mariah May defeated Mina Shirakawa with Mariah May. And after
he looked so torn.
Oh, it was brilliant. This match was excellent. Mina Shirakawa has won my heart. She's fucking brilliant.
Oh,
she's like her. Pure joy. And her
I don't think she will sign with AEW, but I would love for her to sign with AEW.
She's mentioned though that she wants to be like doing more stuff with AEW, and she wants to keep coming back over to America because she's enjoying it. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's like I'm trying to think who's
like an Ibushi deal.
I was gonna say like Rocky Romero, the way he just keeps he just pops up every now and again. It's like, hey, it's Rocky. I wouldn't be surprised if Mina did the same sort of thing. Yeah, this was really hard hitting, really good match. After the match, Mariah, Mina, and Tony all kissed, and Nigel McGuinness was crying after the match.
Yeah, he was.
Which was Nigel was outstanding again on this whole show.
I love Nigel.
It's a shame that he's not going to be wrestling Danielson at All In, but yeah, there's always next year. Next up, we had Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Orange Cassidy. This was fantastic. Exactly what I expected to be.
This was better than what I expected it to be.
Well, I think the thing is, like with Orange Cassidy, is everyone, I don't want to say overlooks him at this point, but like obviously like a large
portion. They sleep on him, don't they?
Yeah, and obviously a large portion of wrestling fans just kind of write him off because he is largely a comedy wrestler.
Yeah, but we don't talk about those people because they're wrong.
Well, I think even like some AEW fans who are the same. But then you see Orange have a match like this where it's against someone where he's got to put his wrestling shoes on, and he just shows how good he is, and the fact that he can work the style he does, but then also have matches like like a technical masterpiece like this,
Yeah.
it just shows how good he is.
Hmm.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. won with a clocky cat lock. Um,
That looked painful.
yeah, basically tied Orange up in a knot, and Orange
Yeah.
had to tap out. He was locked up. He wasn't getting out. Out.
No, he
Uh,
wasn't. I knew as soon as like he did like he started like bending his. I was like, yeah, it's over. Like,
yeah. Next up, we had Shibata, Joe, and Hook defeating Jeff Cobb and the Learning Tree, which is Chris Jericho and Big Bill. Brian Keith was at ringside because he's injured. Um, Hook won with the Judas effect, which was interesting.
yeah, it wasn't. Taz was made up.
I feel like I've been trying to think all day what's going to be Stadium Stampede at um at All In, and I think that it could be this, like the Learning
Well,
Tree.
all the people that normally be in the thing, you like swerves. Like, obviously, you'd automatically in your head you go, well, the people in Blood and Guts be in Stadium Stampede, but obviously they're all in matches.
Mm. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe just to get them on the card, they did like BCC versus the Don Callis family or something like that. That was the other thing I was kind of leaning towards because they had quite a lot of sort of interaction with them. Or the other one was like Orange, Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe and all them with
Versus Adam Cole and that.
yeah, or again the Don Callis family because they've all had kind of like crossovers.
Yeah, and
Um,
Trent.
and Trent's a bastard man. And also it fulfills my dream of having Roosh in a Stadium Stampede, like some kind of
Ugh, all
ancient.
the cables.
Oh, it'll be chaos. It'll be awesome. But yeah, I think it's gonna definitely be some form of that group, or one of those groups. Could just be all of them, just
I
all of
just
them.
want Mox to have a singles match at all in.
So I've got a theory about that.
Go on.
Um, well,
Is it Hangman and Mox because
it
Mox is
is
defending
Hangman.
his
Well, yeah,
wife's
because
honor.
Hangman was a dickhead to Renee on.
But he has been for like the past couple of weeks, like since he got
Yeah,
back.
and he's been choking people, and Mox is still
Loves to
angry
be
that Hangman
choked.
choked. Well, he's still angry that Hangman choked them out. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mox and Hangman, but I think it could be Hangman and Okada as well.
Oh, I would love for it to be Mox and Hangman
There's
though.
there's a lot of different ways it can go down for Hangman. We'll see what happens with him because he's been kicked off the force and he's had to iron this
Did
badge
he
and he's
start going for
been,
Brian just out of anger? Like he could set up Mox and Hangman.
I mean, to be honest, I'd welcome like Hangman versus Claudio or something like that as well. That'd be fun.
Ah, yeah. Or just Hangman like against the BCC. Just have him murder Utah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Speaking of murder, we had the TNT Championship ladder match. Hangman Jack Perry defeating Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry again. Wait, sorry, I'm just reading this off Fight.
Extra Jack
Two,
Perry.
two Jack Perrys, Leo Rush, Dante Martin, and ELP. This was brilliant.
I love ELP so much.
Takeshita might have done the best Blue Thunder bomb ever on ELP.
Yeah. I just
Off
love
the
ELP
apron
a
rolling
lot.
tables. Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
Leo
and
Rush was amazing.
Leo Rush looks like he's not full time with AEW, but it looks like he's going to be with AEW for the foreseeable. Uh,
Really?
there was something that come out about it on Fightful where it was that he's going to be. That's why they've been doing the whole sort of like Top Flight and Andretti and Leo Rush thing. Like he's going to be involved and stuff, but then obviously he picked up a little bit of an injury in this ladder match, so that's been kind of put on ice for a bit. But it sounds like
It's
like
not a
Leo,
bad injury though, is it?
no, he said he's only out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Leo Rush,
Has
Leo Rush.
reconciled whatever he had,
Well,
whatever the issue.
he left on good terms. He just said he didn't really want to. He didn't enjoy the way he was being used at the time, so he wanted to kind of like just branch out and do other stuff. But he was always on good terms with them, and he said like
Oh, right, okay.
had good
I thought it
conversation.
was like a bitter end.
Nah, he left. He basically he signed the contract for a year. Asked if he would want to renew it for another year, and he went no.
Fair.
But yeah, it sounds like he's going to be back and forth with AEW, which I'm good
Get him in the
because
House of Black.
I was Blackheart. Well,
Yeah,
they are down a buddy at the moment because he's on his honeymoon.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
Without Rhea.
I I feel like he's gonna be doing something interesting with Top Flight and Andretti once, as I say, once he's kind of like 100% again, he's able to come back. Um, Next up we had champion versus champion. This was well timed, wasn't it? Looking back,
Yeah.
TBS Championship versus the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Mercedes Moné defeating Stephanie Vaquer via submission to become the double champ. This was brilliant. This was excellent. So good, in fact, that WWE signed Stephanie Vaquer off the back
Yeah.
of this. And she ended up vacating her 2 belts from CMLL. That's a whole shitstorm of a situation.
Oh my God. And like the Rev Pro and everything about it as
I
well.
Yeah, well, I'm mad about that because I'm going to be at that show and I was hoping to see Stephanie Vaquer and Danny Luna because that would have been great. Yeah, Stephanie Vaquer signed for WWE, basically just pulled out of everything she's a part of. Sounds like she's upset quite a few people, according to Davey Meltzer.
In true
And
WWE fashion.
yeah, well, CMLL they have a history of kind of because of the way their contracts are, they can be pretty much broken quite easily. So they
Oh,
used to do,
really?
yeah, that's why this has happened. So they're very protective of who they kind of showcase outside of
Okay.
CMLL. Like they used to do the World X Cup with TNA back in like 2005, 2006, and they didn't want to send over specific people in the event that WWE would see them and go, "Oh, we'll have them." It didn't stop WWE from signing Mystico, but yeah, it's just an interesting thing. So, yeah, she's signed for WWE. I think she's gonna smash it wherever she went. She come out of this looking like an absolute megastar.
Yeah.
And she's a great wrestler. More power to her,
Mhm.
and I look forward to seeing not her and Julia, funnily enough, because their match they had wasn't very good. But there's a lot of women in WWE I look forward to seeing her wrestle. There's a lot of women I would
Yeah.
have liked to see her wrestle outside the WWE as well. But yeah, that it's exciting for Stephanie Vaquer for sure.
Good time to be a wrestling fan.
It is indeed. After the match, speaking of a good time to be a wrestling fan, we got the triumphant return of
Oh, this made
Britt
my
Baker.
heart happy.
They did this so well because obviously like Mercedes music was playing and it was like as it was doing the big build up to go into the drop, it dropped into Britt's music. It was fucking excellently timed. And then obviously Mercedes turned like she's seen a ghost. Britt comes out and then yeah, it looks like
And then she just walked out like Mercedes didn't mean anything either as well.
yeah. It looks like we're getting Brit versus Mercedes all in, which yeah, fucking
Yes.
hooked that right up into my veins.
Yeah.
Me and Tasty were talking about that. That was a match we didn't realize how badly we wanted it until it was
Yeah.
like put in front of us, and we were like, "Holy shit, that'd be amazing."
I miss Brit so much.
Same. Well, she said on Dynamite, didn't she? The
That
Dynamite
she
after.
had a stroke.
Well, she had a TIA, which is it's a mini stroke, so it's essentially like that's like the warning sign that you could be about to have a big stroke.
Yeah.
She also had obviously issues with her hip and her back and neck as
Back,
well.
yeah, she had all those
Um,
injections, didn't she? She had those back issues forever.
yeah, so yeah, I think she said she was working through a lot of injuries, and then her body kind of just give her a massive like red flag to say, calm the fuck
Stop.
down and take some time off.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she did. She looks amazing now. She
She
looks like
looks incredible, doesn't she?
she looks like she's in the best shape of her career.
Yeah.
Not that she was in bad shape before, but fucking hell,
I know.
she come back looking incredible.
She looks
And
like, remember when Britt first wrestled at All In? Like the first All In?
yeah,
That's what she looks like now.
she looks like she's obviously like kind of but by the sound of things, and obviously like she's not said this. This is me just sort of speculating, but it feels as if she's kind of had the goal of being back for Wembley. And obviously with Mercedes being in the picture, she's probably like, right, I'm not going to rush back, but this is what I'm aiming for. And she's got herself in like incredible shape. She looks like she's recovered from everything. She looks like she's ready to go. And yeah, now she's going to have this huge marquee match at Wembley with Mercedes Moné, which
it's going to be so good.
Hook that shit up to my veins, please. We got an announcement next, which was New Japan announcing that the day after Wrestle Kingdom on the 5th of January, they will host Wrestle Dynasty from the Tokyo Dome, which is basically like Forbidden Door in Japan. How annoyed are you?
Don't even. I'm still salty about it.
You look really fucking angry as soon as I brought that up.
I'm like, honestly, like watching it. I was like, as soon as they announced it, I was like, I know what this is gonna be. And then they announced it, and I was like,
It's like when Ryan was like going on about going to Mania the year he did, and then the following year was like 40, and he's like, why didn't I just go to this one?
I'm not so mad that I regret going last year, because
you got to see Brian and Okada.
Yeah, like that was amazing. So I'm not like.
I think actual Wrestle Kingdom's going to be dog shit next year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Well, not dog shit, but I don't think it's going to be very good compared to like
last year's was. This is what I'm saying. Like, I think like, I think Sonata and Naito was great. I think like, obviously, like Okada and Danielson, and then that 4-way match was fantastic. So I have no regrets about going to that Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you had like it was a brilliant card. You had a really good card. So next up we had the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Naito defeating Mox.
This was okay.
I thought this was kind of bad. I don't think Naito.
This is what I'm saying. Like, no.
So the first Naito and Mox match I thought was really good. I feel like though, because they tried to have a different match and it felt like they didn't have a great deal of chemistry with one another. So
I think as well, Naito is just very limited on what he can do now.
Naito is held together with like athletic tape and prayer.
Yeah. And a nice coat.
And a very nice, and like nuclear levels of drip.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine.
I don't think Mox should have dropped the belt, but I understand they had to, unless Mox was going to go in the G1.
Well, the whole thing was that like they made the agreement to have Mox win it so he could drop it back at this. It made sense. It's just Naito was New Japan champion again. Like, why?
I'm just, I know. This is the thing. I'm just like, I think it would have been nice for Shooter to take it off Mox personally.
Yeah, but I don't think that Shooter is I don't think Shooter's like there yet. I think he's still quite a way off being like.
I just think it'd be. I think it would just be interesting to put the belt on a new person instead of cycling through all the old people.
Yeah,
I think if he wants to like catapult it into a new, fresh direction, put it on a new person.
Hopefully they do that with Zack Sabre Jr.
It has to be Zack. I want it to be Zack.
He's the most logical choice. He's like a ready-made top guy. Just needs
but New Japan doesn't believe in logic.
Well, that's true. That's true. Let's see what happens, I guess. Yeah. And in the main event, we had a match of the year contender for sure. Swerve defending the AEW title successfully against Will Ospreay. And Jesus Christ, this was good.
It was hard.
There was that spot where they were like just dodging each other's moves really fucking quickly. There was a bit that stomp onto the table outside was.
Oh, it was gorgeous. Have you seen that they've slowed it down and put it to piano music?
Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect.
There was that bit as well where Ospreay went for the swerve stomp. Swerve moved out the way and hit the hidden blade.
And like fucking murdered him with it.
Yeah. The Ospreay hesitated with the
Tiger Driver.
Tiger Driver again. Don Callis tried to get involved with the screwdriver. Ospreay thought about it, changed his mind. Swerve hit.
Swerve's not an amateur.
Swerve hit a house call, then hit another house call, and a JML driver to pick up the win.
That house call was disgusting.
The first one was grotty, and then the second one.
Oh,
Yeah, but this was excellent. I think that when Ospreay does win the belt eventually, because let's face it, he's absolutely going to win the AEW World Title. A lot of people thought it should have been here. I didn't think it should have. I think Ospreay's a very compelling international champion, and
yeah, I think you can put it off till next year.
Yeah, and win it at Wembley next year. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't need it right now. Obviously, he came out and said that he actually spoke to Tony Khan about wanting to do this match then to kind of get everyone out of the mindset that Swerve was just holding the belt for Ospreay to win it all in, which was cool of him, very cool. Now we get an awesome main event for All In that isn't Swerve and Ospreay, which shows kind of like the depth that AEW have at the moment in their roster is just obscene.
I think as well, I like the idea of like Will like settling into not being like a new guy when he wins the belt, like being like cemented like as like an AEW talent and not just Will Ospreay in AEW.
I think that's what they're kind of going for. It feels like he's going to be like the sort of the face of the company when Brian's gone.
Yeah.
Like not the Brian's the face of the company, but Brian's like one of the top baby faces in the company.
Yeah.
And one of them, and Ospreay getting to where he'll be next year compared to where he is now within AEW. I think it's cool that he has that run with the international championship. Make that mean as important as Orange Cassidy made it mean, even though I've got to think that Ospreay might be about to lose it. But we'll get to that in a minute. And then by the time Ospreay gets to next year, have him win the Owen, have him challenge whoever for the title at All In.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's one thing that AEW have really been trying to sort of lean into, which is obviously one of the biggest criticisms of the storylines weren't as good as they have been. So now they're doing these more sort of like long-term storylines again, planting the seeds. Obviously, there's people who were disappointed Ospreay didn't win because Ospreay feels red hot at the moment, and it's one of those things. I think it doesn't hurt Ospreay losing the belt because of how hot he is, but also if they had have strike while the iron was hot, it would have made complete and utter sense. It would have just been a bit. I feel like it would have been a bit of a disservice to Swerve as a champion because
it wouldn't have been fair to Swerve at all.
I think Swerve's still got a lot left. Like there's a lot of mileage left on Swerve's title reign for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure we're gonna see that coming forward. So let's quickly do the out of 10 on this one. What would you give it?
A 9.
Yeah, I'll give it 8.5. There was
the Naito match didn't dampen it so much for me that I put it down a whole 2 points.
The Naito match was what I'm marking it down on, but also I thought there was a few bits like I wasn't really into the 6-man tag. I kind of wanted a bit more out of MJF and Hechicero as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 8.5.
I enjoyed it. Like,
it was a brilliant show.
I think for just how good Danielson, like the 3 like events of like 4 if you're counting Tony, Tony and Mariah. I think those matches of Danielson, Takagi, Saber, Orange, Swerve, Ospreay, and then Tony Mariah was so good.
Yeah.
That for me, that's what puts it to a 9 because they were just so amazing.
Fair. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. As I say, there was just a few bits where I was just like,
and Britt coming back.
I did enjoy that. Yeah, there was just I mean, as I say, the 6-man MJF and Hechicero, Mox and Naito, I kind of expect a little bit more from. And
yeah, the Acclaim just bleh.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Forbidden Door. Let's move on and talk about the aftermath. Because
Hangman's tasty little promo.
First of all, before we get to that cop, let's talk about the women's side of things, because that's what I really want to talk about more than anything. Because I think this year's women's Owen was fantastic.
Yeah, it's been really good.
So, I'll just run us down through it dead quick. So, first round we had Willow defeating Serena Deeb, Chris Statlander defeating Nyla Rose, Deonna Purrazzo losing to Shida, and Mariah May defeating Saraya. In the semis, we had Willow beating Chris and Mariah beating Shida. That Mariah Shida match, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It was great.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
I think it was probably the best match of like the women's side of it for sure. And in the finals, we had the defending champion Willow Nightingale in a lovely, lovely Owen Hart Nation of Domination gear.
Yeah.
Against Mariah. Mariah won in what I can only describe as a beautiful homage to Owen Hart. When he won the King of the Ring, where he literally run it like that finishing spot was literally how Owen won the King of the Ring. And yeah, after the whole story behind this was obviously Toni Storm had got Mariah the opportunity to be in the tournament because she wanted to help her understudy, her protege. Mariah interestingly beat Saraya, who beat Toni for the belt.
Yeah.
Did she beat? No, she didn't beat Toni for the belt. Did Toni beat her though?
Toni screwed Saraya out of it, didn't she?
Yeah. She beat Saraya and Shida, who Toni has had previous with regards to her title run. And then Willow in the final, who's the previous year's winner. So really solidifying Mariah as like a huge deal. After the match, Toni and Mariah go to the top of the stage to get Mariah's belt. And Mariah beheaded Toni with the fucking thing.
Absolutely murdered
and then whipped the shit out of her with it. She hit Luther with it and threw him off the stage. Luther's like in his 50s, like taking a bump like that, a lunatic. She pushed Aubrey Edwards over.
She didn't. She like got Aubrey hard, like and then murdered her with the show.
Toni Storm for the last 12 months has been saying, "Watch out for the shoe," and she didn't heed her own advice when Mariah was swatting her across the head. Toni was an absolute bloody mess, which as well is a beautiful bit of imagery, given that Toni's promos have all been in black and white, and Mariah gave Toni color. It was
and a little smooch.
And she had like a big blood stain over her face.
It was beautiful.
It was one of the best heel turns I think AEW's ever done. And one of the best.
I wasn't surprised though. Like I wasn't surprised at all.
I was, because they suckered me in. So I thought that Mariah was going to turn on Toni after the match. Like
no.
After the All-In match, I didn't think it was going to happen now.
So for me in my head, I was like, I think Mariah's going to do a full Club Venus entry with Mina at All-In. So this is why I was like half expecting this ahead of All-In. I didn't expect it to be then, but I wasn't surprised that it happened.
But that's it. Like I think like both of us didn't think it was going to happen last night.
Yeah.
At time of recording, which was fucking wild. And yeah, I think that kind of cements Mariah as a star.
Yeah.
Like I think
it's all about Mariah.
It's all about Mariah. And I think that I think she has to beat Toni, doesn't she, at Wembley?
Oh yeah.
And
her family have seen her wrestle twice in like a gym as well. Like
they're gonna next see her wrestle at Wembley.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. yeah, there was a really cool way they framed the shot as well, where like they zoomed out. Mariah was stood over Tony, who was like covered in her own blood, and it just should put the match graphic up, and it's like, yeah, Mariah
That
rules.
fan-made poster, though, that someone made, the watch out for the shoe.
Oh, with the shoe, with like this blood skin.
Ah,
Yeah, it was awesome.
phenomenal.
I'm gonna find out who that was because I want to credit the artist. I believe they were called Overkill, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Over by Design, and
Yeah.
they've actually done another one now, which is a black and white picture with um Mariah like leaning into Tony, who's and the blood's red. It's very cool. Yeah, more of that, please, because that's cool as fuck. And yeah, I really really enjoyed the women's side of this tournament.
Yeah.
I thought it was excellent, and more of that, please. Let's go on to the men's because this was a bit more.
Oh, that's a beautiful poster, you're right. I had to go
Yeah.
and see it, so yeah,
This
amazing.
this was a bit more kind of star-studded in the lineup. There was a lot of there was no one who I thought shouldn't have been in this tournament. I know a lot of people were disappointed that Jeff Jarrett was in the tournament, but it made complete
I
sense
think it was very, yeah, I was about to say very fitting.
because he was Owen Hart's best friend, and
Yeah,
it was a nice touch to put Jeff in there.
it was very
So
sweet. And I'm not the
also
biggest fan of Jeff, but yeah, I think
also
he should have been in
watch
there.
watch his 9 minute video of him talking about Owen Hart. It's absolutely beautiful.
It was a
And
bit heartbreaking.
oh yeah, it's devastating. Well, I mean, he's still like it completely fucked him up losing Owen, like the way he lost him, and
Yeah,
obviously having to go out
absolutely.
like wrestle straight after that because WWE are an awful fucking company. Well, Vince
Exactly.
McMahon's an awful person.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it must have been like I couldn't have dreamt of that. It's horrific.
No.
But yeah, we'll quickly go through this. So first round we had Claudio Castagnoli losing to Pac, which
It
brilliant
was a
match.
good match, that. Yeah.
Aforementioned Brian and Shingo, which was a banger. Jay White defeating Ray Phoenix, which again, Jay White hates luchadors. Love to see it.
We haven't had one of those, it feels like we haven't had one of those matches in forever, didn't it? Like,
we need more of them. We need Jay
yeah.
White. It's like wage war on Mexico, like Mox did in Japan. Jeff Jarrett lost to the returning wild card, which was Hangman Page
Oh,
with new music, and it
new
was like
gear
new gear.
and an Orville promo.
Well, I saw someone on Twitter like put a pic put the promo Swerve cut on him before Wrestle Dream about how he's not a new merch, he's not a new gear,
Yeah.
he's still got the same music, he's still got
Yeah.
nothing's changed from original presentation Hangman. And he
Yeah.
comes back with new music, he instantly releases a new t-shirt and he's got new gear. And it's like, okay, you've been
Yeah,
listening
I
to
see
Swerve.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, Hangman did a fucking murder on Jeff Jarrett.
Oh my
But
God.
I found myself rooting for Jeff though, because like he was getting his ass kicked that bad.
I mean, yeah, but I'm a Hangman girl,
It
so that's never going
it,
to
it,
happen.
it was like Jarrett was getting his ass beaten that bad, and then he hit that stroke off the apron onto Hangman. It was like,
That was
oh shit.
wild. I
It was a
know.
good match. It was a really good
Yeah, it
match. Like
was. It was.
I I wouldn't be against them doing on an not an all in. I don't want to see Jarrett and
Thank
Hangman,
God.
but on an episode of Dynamite, do Jarrett and Hangman in like a bull rope match or something. That'd be fucking awesome.
Oh, yes. You could
That'd
do
be
it in
so good.
Virginia or something like that. Like, do it.
Yeah,
Like, for I'd be down for that.
just have Jarrett just do like an old school fucking like Memphis
Do like
style
a
match with
cinematic
Hangman.
match and have it on a ranch.
Do, have Jarrett defend this Texas Chainsaw Massacre deathmatch belt. That's what we
That's
need.
what I'm saying. Like get him and Jarrett to have some sort of cinematic Wild Western match,
But,
like
but
like
to
a
be fair
saloon
though,
brawl.
with with this as well, like AEW have done a fucking great job of like turning Jarrett face here.
Yeah, it's wild,
Like
isn't it?
he felt like a proper beloved babyface by the end of this tournament. It's like that's awesome because I love Jeff Jarrett. I know he's very divisive, but I fucking love him. He's got a special place in my heart as Double J. Speaking of J's, in the second second semi-final, Jay White got absolutely murdered by Hangman.
Oh, it was so good. It was so
Tremendous match.
needed though. Like,
Yeah.
I think personally, I think the only thing it was missing was some form of promo, like detailing Hangman's failures over Jay White.
Well,
I think that was the only thing that was missing.
did you see on Twitter, Jay White kept like poking the bear,
No, I know that, but I mean, like, I think they could
saying
have
like
done
4-0 and
something.
shit like that. I'm like, oh, Jay,
Saw it, like I was like, he's gonna murder him, but I think I would have liked to have seen some form of video package, like just
I
detailing that.
I think that obviously, like we already had that like in the build up to Forbidden Door, and
And it's
didn't.
also the Owen, really, isn't it? It's not really like about the wrestlers in it. Because they didn't even do like one for Brian and thingy either. Brian and Hangman.
No, they did do a little one before though, didn't they? Just
Yeah.
detailing the history. Um, and in the other semi we had Pac and Brian, which was fucking great.
Yeah, it
This
was.
excellent. And before we get to the final, which was obviously Brian and Hangman, let's talk about Hangman's promo because Jesus Christ, this was like art.
Oh, it was so good.
If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go and watch it.
If you haven't
Um,
seen it, I'll be angry. So go watch it.
so basically, it was Hangman walking backstage, covered in his own blood after the Jay White match, and
Carrying a belt.
he looked unhinged. He was like screaming, saying, I'll bleed. I bleed 1,000 times before. I'll do it 1,000 times again. I need to get to Swerve." And then, like, as he walks away, he just turns around and has this like massive outburst. Go, "You broke into my home. We had to leave
Yeah.
because it wasn't safe, and
Oh.
you all sided with him. You didn't get
Oh.
punished for it. Unbelievable."
It was so sad. Like he's a broken man.
Yeah, I mean, I know he is a massive cop, but I felt so much sympathy. Like, I the storytelling here is brilliant, and Hangman's one of the best that AEW has for stories. He
Yeah.
really, um, it it meant that like going into this final, everyone thought that Bryan Danielson was in grave danger, and he was.
Yeah. Like let's not detract from what happens.
Like almost instantly, and they had Nigel on commentary as well, so Nigel's
Oh,
giddy. This.
that was a massive like thingy though as well, wasn't it? That was a massive like red herring because wasn't Excalibur like, wouldn't you love for someone to interfere in this match,
Yeah,
Nigel? Like
yeah. And Nigel's been hammering it up, so I think something's going to happen with Nigel and Brian. I just don't know what exactly.
just do it for Burning Heart when Brian retired.
Just, just do it for
Do it for
Wrestle
the
Dream.
Olympia.
They've
Of
already
Nigel made
they,
retire Brian in his
they've,
hometown.
they've already had Nigel like concuss himself to death in the Olympia. He can't do that again.
Oh,
Uh,
I mean, he
no,
can, but you
yeah,
know.
have Nigel cost Brian the match against Swerve it all in, and then have Nigel and Brian at Wrestle Dream.
And then have Nigel murder him again.
Yeah. Nigel headbutt a ring post the hard way because why not? Um, what's the worst thing that could happen there, Nigel?
Absolutely nothing. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So before we get into the match itself as well, let's just talk about Hangman's entrance because it was fucking great. Just like this is one of the little like story things that was just so good. So Jeff Jarrett, because of obviously Hangman murdering him, and just he's had a few run-ins with Hangman in this tournament. He was named the special guest enforcer in this match, which was a great touch. Because he didn't get too involved, which was brilliant. But they had him on the entrance where he was basically stood by the trophy, like waiting to see if he needed to involve himself in the match. On Hangman's entrance, Jarrett turns to the heel tunnel and Hangman walks out the face tunnel because in Hangman's mind, he is a
He's a
justified
good guy.
face,
Yeah. He
even
is a
though
good
he's
guy.
a bastard man.
He's a good man.
Top. Um, And but it was so good because like
Yeah,
even the way Jarrett had his back turned to him and then he just turned around like he looked like Hangman was gonna kill him, and
yeah.
Hangman just glared a hole through him and then just carried on walking. Um, and then yeah, he did all of the murder on Brian. Brian was bleeding really quickly. Hangman got bust open. Hangman did a horrific pile driver on the floor on Brian.
Brian, when Brian threw Hangman onto his back on the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awful.
Um, and
The
yeah,
Psycho knees were like evil.
yeah. But that wasn't what put Hangman away. So Hangman hit a dead eye on Brian. He hits a buckshot. He goes for another, and it's one too many. This was after a ref bump as well.
And Jarrett,
Yeah, Hangman basically starts choking Brian with a belt. Jarrett gets involved, like to stop him, and Hangman like pushes Jeff Jarrett. And this was cool again. It was a really cool babyface thing where instead of Jarrett getting involved, he just took his shirt off and had a ref shirt underneath it, and Hangman was
yeah.
like, "Oh fuck." And then Brian rolls up Hangman and picks the win.
His shoulders went down.
His shoulders weren't down, but maybe you shouldn't have upset the referee. Uh,
That's
but
definitely
yeah,
not going to come back to bite Jarrett in the ass at all.
Jarrett's like a future fucking murder victim. Like he's his days on this mortal coil are so fucking numbered. That bastard cop's gonna kill him. Yeah, so that sets up the two main events for All In of Swerve and Brian
And
Danielson.
Swerve came out straight after.
Yeah, he did. He did. Basically, announced himself for Blood and Guts, and that cop Hangman now put himself in Blood and Guts as well.
Oh, can we talk
So
about how the Bucks have been like assistant Hangman as well, like throughout
yeah,
this
so
entire tournament?
yeah, so basically the Bucks have been like sort of love bombing Hangman, haven't they, with this in this tournament?
Yeah, they have.
He got the Bang Bang Gang removed from the Jay White match. They got him his place in the tournament to begin with, and it was all to
They
try and
got
get him.
him, and then Christian also thingy, but that's
Yeah,
obviously from the Bucks. Like,
yeah. Well, look, it feels like the Bucks are building the elite bigger and bigger. Like
yeah,
they've got Mercedes on board. They've got
almost like they're building an embassy. The
it's like they're building an empire. Um,
Golden Empire.
but yeah. So basically, Hangman said, you kicked me out of the elite. I don't want to be part of it." And then Swerve announced himself for Blood and Guts, and Hangman was like, "I'm in." After
And
like
they're
having
there. Yeah.
after being an arsehole to Renee, and then
Oh,
having
that made me so mad.
which I'm sure Mox is gonna handle fine.
He's gonna be
Um,
so okay with that.
last time someone was a dickhead to Renee, he didn't murder them at all, did he?
Yeah, no.
Not even once. Wasn't it Hangman again as well? Um,
Yeah.
and
It was during like their feud, wasn't it? And like he
yeah,
snapped.
yeah. Yeah, and then he had like a bit of a run in with a Carter, so there's the teasing there. So any one of those things could happen at All In.
Yeah.
Also, Pac
I'm
won
sure Kenny's
a
definitely not gonna walk in like Troy and Community where like he's walking in with pizzas and like
I,
everything's on fire.
I can't wait to see when Kenny shows up because I imagine it's soonish.
I think it'll be World's End or Revolution for the
Yeah,
shits and gigs.
Revolution might be a shout.
You could have him like like come back at World's End and then build him for Revolution.
It
Like
it felt like they were trying to like aim for him to be back for All In, weren't they?
it's
Um,
definitely not happening.
no, but apparently Ibushi's almost clear, so he might be at All In.
Ibushi did exhibition match at GLEAT.
God, he doesn't need to be doing that. He needs to calm the fuck down, the mad bastard.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So other matches that have been kind of teased, we had Osprey and MJF teased. They're having a match next week. And I believe the winner of that is going to face Pac at All In.
We've still got fucking Suzuki and Jericho like waiting in the wings as well.
That might happen at All In.
That'd be good.
If
I
Hook's
didn't
if
get to see
not Hook,
Suzuki at Wrestle Kingdom, so like,
Suzuki is like top of my bucket list of wrestlers. I think.
yeah,
He's like the number one person I've not seen that I want to see. Um,
yeah.
so yes, please. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Obviously, Mercedes and Britt has been
Brit.
teased heavily. The Bucks and the Acclaimed for some reason, and the
I
Patriarch.
really hope that the Acclaim don't beat them. Like, I don't want them to
I think they're going. Well, I don't think they're going to beat them, but I think they're gonna. Um,
have them
yeah,
all in.
yeah. Um,
I think it
but
needs to be like, I think the Elite need to be like with gold. You know what I mean?
and they are at the moment. Oh, and
Yeah, that's what
the
I'm
other,
saying. Like,
yeah.
you could have Hangman take the belt off Okada though
Hmm. I think Okada holds that till after the. I think he retains it in the
in the C2.
C2.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's how far he's going with it. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff with the international championship because obviously Pac's going to face the winner of Osprey and MJF. Um, there is a lot of talk that a certain Ricochet is going to be all elite sooner rather than later. His contract did
I
expire.
think I think you could have Ricochet show up at All In and then compete it all out.
See, I think he's going to come sooner than that. I think
Blood and guts.
no, I think that MJF might beat Osprey for the belt by fuckery next week. Um, which then means we get MJF and Pac, which will be a cool little match. And then it puts MJF and Osprey on the back burner because I think that
But
there's
MJF and the fucking Don Callis family.
nah, he's got his crown jewel in Roosh.
Yeah,
And,
that's true.
yeah, and then we could get Osprey and Ricochet as the other match, and just as an exhibition match.
That'd be good though.
Um, yeah. So yeah, there's a couple of other
Who do you
free
think's
agents.
gonna have the TNT? And think Takeshi's gonna beat that off Jack?
Not anytime soon.
Well, who do you think's
I
defend? Who do
think.
you think he's doing it at All In?
Oh, Darby. They teased it on Dynamite, didn't
Oh
he?
yeah,
They said they had Darby return, paint Brandon Cutler like a clown, as he said.
it was wild, wasn't it?
Did you see Cutler's thing on Twitter?
No.
So it was after, and he's just like pops up like a fucking meerkat. He's like, ah, he
Oh my
painted me
God.
like a clown and kicked my ass. This isn't over. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. I'm looking forward to it. I think, as I say, obviously MJF as well. We didn't even touch on turned heel by attacking Daniel Garcia and doing a
Oh my
murder.
baby.
There's still a possibility we could get MJF and Daniel Garcia at All In because MJF literally said that's the match and then
Yeah.
said I'd never give you that match. So they could book that match as like a bait and switch.
Have Garcia win the belt.
You know what? I wouldn't be mad if they did like a six pack, like a scramble for the international championship and have like Osprey, MJF, Ricochet,
Imagine.
Pac, Daniel Garcia.
Just all the
Uh,
gravity.
no, they do release Gravity, mate. Yeah, just it'd be cool. Obviously we have mentioned Ricochet there. As I said, his contract with WWE expired on the 1st of July. Also on the same week, Dijak's contract expired, which I'm excited to see what he does because
Yeah.
Dijak's
I'd like to see
fucking
him in
awesome.
GCW.
I think it's a matter of time till he shows up in GCW. I'd like to see him in New Japan. I'm gutted that it was like not timed well enough that he could have jumped into the G1.
Hmm.
But there's always next year. And also Damon Kemp, who was part of the No Quarter Catch crew with Charlie Dempsey, friend of the podcast.
Ooh.
Um, he got killed off on NXT TV by Charlie Dempsey.
Um, also, Becky Lynch.
Oh yeah, we covered that ages ago. Though.
I know, but I mean, like, she still hasn't, like,
There's talk she could be showing up somewhere else. I think she'll return to WWE. I don't. I
I
think
think she's
she's
just
got like,
having a nice little
yeah,
break.
she's got WWE lifer written all over her, hasn't she?
Yeah, her answer, which makes me so sad.
Seth Rollins in the G1 would have been the dream.
Oh, I think
Tyler
I'd have
Black in the
just ceased
G1,
to exist.
hitting God's last gifts on everybody.
Oh,
Um, yeah. Also, AEW have, or as I said previously, they've it sounds like they've signed Ricochet. They also did have meetings with Dijak. He was backstage at Forbidden Door. He was a guest of Tony Khan's, and he said he had a meeting and he's pitched ideas, which is because
nice.
again, Dijak fucking rules. He's one of the best big men around. Like,
I think we
I,
could have MXN take the belts off the books if the machine guns um
don't, don't you threaten me with a good time.
if we
Um,
don't have the
because
machine guns showing up.
my fucking boys MXM are all elite. They announced this week that they had a Ring of Honor video package announcing that they're coming, and then it got like confirmed by Fightful and themselves that.
And then Max Caster.
And Max Caster did as usual. We don't want him, and Mansoor fucking destroyed them with a rap, beat him
Give
at
me my
his own
fries,
game.
bro.
Oh, that was when he said when he said your bones Janetti.
Oh, and
What
it's
was
got
it?
like 81K views.
It's no, it's got more now. It's like
Oh my
1.4
God.
million. Like
Oh.
when I checked it just before we went on recording, it was 1.4 million. So yeah, I feel like we might get MXM versus the Acclaimed at some point, and I'm okay with it because I fucking love MXM. They're great. They're such an underrated tag team. Um, they've also signed someone we've seen wrestle in person.
Yeah.
Uh, Aramis. They apparently he's been completely repackaged. Looks like he's going to be called Hologram.
Wow.
And they did like a video package for him on Collision last week, showcasing a new mask.
I'll have to
Everyone was
tell Matthew that because he loved Aramis.
yeah. Don't tell him until he debuts. Just when he actually debuts, go. Do you know who that is? But yeah, it was weird because he's got like a new gear, but he looked like Aerostar from Lucha Underground, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's like Aerostar. That's pretty cool. And it's like actually it's Aramis. So I was like, oh, that's even cooler because he's like Aerostar's like 40 and jumps off really high things and fucking has no knees anymore. Whereas Aramis is like 25 and yeah, he's got like years ahead of him. So that's really cool. Looking forward to that. Um, Speaking of people who we also enjoy, unfortunately, another friend of the podcast, Jordan Oliver, is
I
and oh,
know.
and knees as well. He's
Oh.
torn his ACL. He's going to be out 9 to 12 months.
Have you seen how good that t-shirt is though? That's being sold to raise money for him.
Yeah, I'm going to buy one
It's
when
a
I get back.
banger. Yeah,
I'm going to buy one come payday. Because it's very, very nice.
it is.
Yeah, go support Jordan Oliver because he is fucking fantastic, and I think I feel like he was on the cusp of like getting signed somewhere
And he's a
before he,
sweet boy.
and he's a really nice guy. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
genuinely lovely man.
yeah.
So yeah, hopefully he'll be fit soon. Um, do you want to talk about where one of his last matches was?
Yeah.
Because I'm bit so actually, you know what? I'm gonna do that in a minute. First of all, I've got to talk about something another friend of the podcast sent me urgently. Um and fuck's sake, what's going on here? I'm locked out of the Twitter account, so I can't actually read the damn fucking
Ah!
it's it's fine. Um
No, no, it's not.
so um yeah. Basically that's a weird thing to authenticate the account. Sorry, Twitter's Elon, stop fucking up Twitter, you prick. Um, so basically, a friend of the podcast, Lewis Johnson, um,
Boo.
big advocate of TNFaye as well, might I add. It's like he read my mind because he he sent me a massive bunch of messages on Twitter the other day, which basically did the TNFaye for me. Um, so with the news that Samoa Joe has been written off AEW television to record season 2 of Twisted Metal, let's talk about one of Samoa Joe's best TNA storylines, the Nation of
No.
Violence.
Oh.
Um, so Samoa Joe basically went missing for like ages, and also in fact, I'll read what Lewis has sent me because he sent me a quote here, um, which was TNA almost had a bloodline 15 years before the WWE. Samoa Joe's Nation of Violence. What a horrendously bad yet great idea. Apparently, the tea is this: Jeff Jarrett, Jim Cornette, and Eric Bischoff liked Samoa Joe a lot and wanted to use him as a top guy. Vince Russo did not, since he was, as Scotty Steiner says, rotund physique wise and an indie darling. Eric Bischoff had the idea of bringing in Jimmy Snuka, who was almost 65 years old at the time, to be Joe's manager in a new Samoan filled stable. The Ninjas, also very rotund for some reason, that attacked and kidnapped Joe, that one time was supposed to be sent by Snuka himself. Then the group would expand and its members would
Wait,
include.
wait, 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 wait.
We talked about the Ninjas.
I know, and I'm trying so very hard, like, to not talk
Yeah.
about the ninjas, but like, oh, okay,
So
sure.
yeah. So the group would expand its members and would be include but not be limited to Rikishi and Manu, who WWE fired earlier on in the year. Um, the Nation of Violence was not going to be a catchphrase, but rather the name of a group. The face paint and the gear that Joe had, as well as the machete that he was wielding, were all Russo's ideas. So
You sure
Samoa
it
Joe,
wasn't Joe's machete from his
well,
collection of weapons?
it could have been. So Samoa Joe basically went off TV, returned with like long baggy pants, with like with like shit brown, with like tribal patterns all up them.
Oh
He had
no.
he had face paint on his over one eye, but it looked like a dick. Um, and there was a bit where he basically held a knife to Scott Steiner's throat while Scott Steiner was lifting weights.
The more you tell me about this, the
Um,
sadder I get.
it's
Like,
about to get better. So um, Bischoff could not, in fact, get Snooker on board. Joe showing up, having gained quite a lot of weight, was very disgruntled and pale, and the ninja angle was dropped. Joe then started softly killing people, but not really people, um, before briefly joining the mob for no reason. So he joined the main event Mafia, which Samoa Joe came back as the Nation of Violence to feud with, but then ended up joining as the Nation of Violence Samoa Joe as one man, as a faction, and was managed by Taz, who was never supposed to be with Joe, but they panicked because they wanted Joe to have a manager. So they just put Taz with Joe. And then it says, just goes to show you, booking is everything. Two exact same ideas done astronomically differently.
oh my God.
Um,
A
yeah,
world of no is what I have to say for that.
so
I
basically
don't
some
thank you for this.
so basically Samoa Joe came back to take the world title off Kurt Angle, but because Vince Russo wanted to make it a swerve, bro, uh, it was in a King of the Mountain match where the winner is the person who can hang the belt in a ladder match, so it's like a reverse ladder match. Um, and you've got to pin people to be eligible. It's madness. Um,
I don't like that.
it's a really fun match to watch, but it's absolute fucking lunacy. Um, So as Samoa Joe's about to hang the belt, Kurt Angle climbs up the ladder, and then who Joe's been feuding with for legit like a year, and then Joe hands Kurt Angle the belt, and Kurt hangs the belt and wins the title.
I
Uh,
would be so
I
disappointed.
I was so
Like,
mad watching that live.
what?
I was furious. I was waiting for Joe to murder Kurt Angle, and then that happened. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh
And
no.
yeah, then he joined the main event Mafia, which is a story for another day.
Can
I
it not
can't.
be a story for another never?
No, I can't wait to tell you about the main event Mafia.
Oh,
It's great.
I
Um,
don't want it.
I might drop into another episode of something that you're recording to drop that one. But yeah, thank you to Lewis Johnson for sending me that and saving me having to do all
Thank
the notes
you.
myself.
Thank
because
you is not the word that I
I
would use.
that
But
that's
Lewis
what
is my friend, so I can't say what I'm saying.
that's what I was planning on doing for TNFaye.
No,
Like
like why do
since
you do
since
this to me? Like
yes,
why do I have
um,
to come on here and get psychic damage that I didn't sign up for?
I mean because it's funny and people enjoy it. I also because now I'm gonna do something nice and that's sell you on the idea of some mystery wrestling in your life.
Yes, please give me a balm
Um,
to my soul. Go on.
so do you like wrestling, Faye?
Yeah,
Do you like Evil Uno?
obviously.
Do you like wrestling where you don't know what's going to happen,
So
as
like
in
Mystery Vortex.
like Mystery Vortex crossed with Shikara?
That sounds like something like you and Big Tasty made up.
Well, it's me and Ryan are kind of obsessed with it at the moment. We've been watching quite a
Okay.
lot of it. And they had their last show on the 23rd of June 2024. So Mystery Wrestling is a promotion that is run by Evil Uno in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada, where he does not announce any of the matches whatsoever. He streams the show live on his Twitch, and then you can subscribe to his Patreon after to watch them on demand, which is what we've been doing. Um, and basically, it's a mixture of really good wrestling and absolutely fucking ludicrous wrestling.
Which is
And
what we
it's
love.
and he doesn't announce anything. He has a guest commentator. So on this show, he had Angelo Parker as his co-commentator. Um,
Oh.
and he announces one wrestler who's going to definitely be on the show. So this one was Josh Alexander. Um, so I'll run you, and it's cool as well. I think you'll like it a lot because a lot of it is showcasing talent that you've never heard before. A lot of it is like
Hmm.
local Quebec talent or
Love that.
Canadian talent. So uh, I'll go through it and I'll explain it. As I say, every match is a mystery. So he starts off with a fatal four-way match where everyone's in the ring in the match and they've all got black robes on and like druids and get announced one by one. So
Ah, okay.
um they had McCray Martin, who is a very good local Canadian wrestler. James Stone, who is a very rude but very good Canadian wrestler. Mathis Meyer, who I'd never heard of before, but was also very good. And Stu Grayson, you know him. Um,
Oh,
they also announced last minute that they'd been through Stu's bag and his Loot 7 title was on the line.
oh
Um,
wow.
Stu lost the match to McCray Martin and was legitimately furious.
No.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really good match, very fun, and everyone was genuinely shocked. Next up, they had a 4-on-4 battle royal. Um, so basically, there's two wrestlers, Cecil Nix and London Lightning, who have been feuding with one another. Um, and basically, they had a battle royal, which was a tag team. You could only eliminate each other by throwing each other over the top rope. London Lightning picked Puff, who was in the crowd, who just joined. Um, Cecil Nix did not have a partner for a long time until eventually the referee decided he would join. Um, he would go on his team. He then got eliminated immediately, went in the back and joined the other team, and then got eliminated. Um, there was a guy called Dexter Doom, who's also known as Franklin Mayer, who dresses like a hot dog salesman, who also got
Yeah.
eliminated and then went to sell hot dogs after the match. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, and Cecil Nix ended up winning by eliminating everybody. Also, London Lightning looks like Canadian. Well, not Canadian because RJ City is Canadian, but it looks like RJ City's younger brother.
Wow,
Um,
okay.
yeah, he's been. I think he's been on Collision. Um, Next up, we had Cristara versus Junio Benito, just two of Evil Uno students. Really fun match. And then before the halfway point, we had a boathouse brawl match, which was a hardcore match with a fishing theme. Um, and that match was vegan Sean Keegan, who literally came out with like green gear and telling everyone that he was a vegan. against Seabass Finn, whose gimmick was fisherman. They did a spot where Seabass Finn got slammed onto a load of fishing hooks. There was a bait and tackle match, box in the match. There was a bit where they were doing stuff with fishing rods. It was just silly bollocks, but it was hilarious. Also, Seabass Finn did a dive, and Angelo Parker screamed, "Kick his ass, Seabass," and was made up himself. Next up, we had Mike Bailey defeating Jordan Oliver, which was an absolute banger. Yeah, I must add as well, this is all in like a tiny little, like, it looks
very
like
small. I've seen pictures.
It's a tiny venue, yeah, and they had this match. Like, that's wild. Yeah, it was an absolute banger. Really fun. Again, they can't have a bad match, but
no,
for just a random show that you don't know what match is, that's a cool match that just happens.
It's also free on Twitch when it streams.
It is, or it's I believe it's £8 a month on Patreon, and you get access to all the previous shows.
It's on like a quite reasonable time as well on Twitch. It's not like.
So me and Ryan watched it. It was on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock, and it finished at like 12:10.
Yeah.
So I could still get up for work the next day without feeling too tired. Yeah. Then there was a 6-man tag, which was me and Ryan's new favorite trio, which is Le Tabernacle Trio, which is basically just 3 murder lumberjacks.
Okay.
One of them looks like Shreddy if he was a lumberjack. So the team of Benjamin Tull, Matthew St. Jack, and Thomas Dubois, and they defeated 3 jobbers by murder. They basically just put them through a ton of doors and other things. Yeah, it was very fun. And then in the main event, the only real recurring storyline within Mystery Wrestling, which is the Ballad of Psycho Mike, my actual favorite wrestler of all time.
Is your favorite cowboy?
Well, we'll get to that. So he started off his fair. Do you know his debut in Mystery Wrestling was against?
No.
Charles Crowley.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying this.
The spectacular twat himself. Psycho Mike's whole thing is that his finishing move's the body slam, and he's really good at working the hard cam, and he just does silly bollocks, and he's brilliant. So he on Mystery Wrestling 5, this is where his story started happening, where he cut a promo and he was like, this is my last match ever as a babyface, because I've got a doctor's note. I've been diagnosed as being a piece of shit. And then they checked the doctor's note, everything was on the board. He then got tests at the next show, and the doctor came back and was like, "You are indeed a piece of shit." Fast forward to I think it was Mystery Wrestling 8, and he come out and he was like, I've got a update on my medical journey. I'm not actually a piece of shit. I am in fact a cowboy." And now he's cowboy shit. Now he's Cowboy Psycho Mike. And instead of his finishing move being a body slam, his finishing move's a lariat. And he has little denim trunks, and a cowboy hat.
Like Filthy Tom.
Yes, but like actual like wrestling trunks, not like shorts, like actual wrestling trunks that are denim, that have pockets on the back and everything. And then on this show, in the main event, he wrestled against Josh Alexander, who I did not know was his former tag team partner until this show. He basically said he's spoken to scientists and they've created a serum for him that he's only allowed to take it if he can win it in a wrestling match. So he had to wrestle Josh Alexander to get the serum to cure him of being a cowboy piece of shit. He ended up beating Josh Alexander. And then as everyone's celebrating as Mike finishing his story, as he drinks the serum, the referee smacks him on the back and he spits the serum out.
Oh no!
And then he just starts crying and like low blows the referee and walks out. And he's still a piece of shit.
Oh my god!
But he's genuinely one of the most entertaining wrestlers I've ever seen.
I love that.
on the Evil Uno's YouTube, you can watch Mystery Wrestling 5 for free. The main event is Psycho Mike versus Orange Cassidy, and it's wonderful.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it's there's also some other very good matches on there. I won't tell you who because I think you'll enjoy the surprises. But there's quite a few AEW people on that show. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out to Mystery Wrestling because it's what I've been enjoying the most. I'll also send you a link to Mystery Wrestling 5 after this,
Yes,
Faye,
please. I might do
because
it. I might watch it at the weekend and do like a tweet along,
do
like
it,
a live vlog on Twitter.
do it. Right, so we've got two things to talk about left, maybe three. Three things to talk about left because Fightful have just dropped an update.
Four, four, Death Before Dishonor.
There's no matches announced yet, is there?
Two,
There's two matches
Athena.
announced.
Two, yeah.
Do you wanna do that while I get this up?
Yeah, Athena and Queen Aminata
Yes, please.
and Billy Starks and Red Velvet. And that's on Friday, July 26th.
Nice.
And that's on Honor Club. Also, I'm pretty
2 weeks
sure.
away. Fucking hell.
Yeah. They haven't announced the match yet, but I'm pretty sure Lee Moriarty beat Yuta in a Proving Grounds match as well.
So we're getting Yuta versus Moriarty for the
I
pure
think
title.
so, yeah.
Yeah, just put it on Moriarty. Just do it.
Ugh,
At
he's
this
only
point,
just got
I don't give a
back.
fuck. I don't give a fuck. Just do it. Just do it.
Ugh.
Um. So, um, let me just see this. Um. Okay. So Fightful have released an update on Jamie Hayter, and it's lengthy. So I'm just gonna read it. I haven't seen this properly myself.
Go on.
Um. So they say Jamie Hayter has been out of action for over a year with little to no updates. In fact, the only couple of updates that we've been able to learn since that time was that Hayter worked through an injury to drop the AEW Women's title at Double or Nothing last year. Shortly after, it was apparent to All Elite Wrestling that Hayter would be unable to wrestle at AEW All in 2023. Then it was clear that Hayter wouldn't be wrestling for the rest of the year and later simply sidelined indefinitely. There have been a ton of inquiries and requests for update on Jamie Hayter's status, and for the better part of a year, things were completely silent outside of Hayter coming. However, faithful selectors learned that Hayter was at an AEW Dynamite show in recent months when the roster had to show up for physicals. The feelings inside the company that there, the feel inside the company that there had been some positive movement towards a potential recovery for Hayter. However, we're not told where that stands as of right now, as her injury was a very serious one. When we asked within AEW, they did say that her appearance there was the most positive news towards a possible return that they've had since she's been sidelined, even though numerous talent who were off TV had to show up for those physicals. AEW talent that we spoke to say they haven't heard much, if anything, about Hayter of late. Her being backstage is not a regular occurrence these days, and talent say that they haven't seen her back since they haven't heard any general updates on her. Those we've spoken to said she's been keeping to herself and focusing on recovering. Hayter have been battling her injuries for well over a month before dropping the AEW Women's title at Double or Nothing 2023 and had to get cleared ahead of that show. To sum it up, last year the line of thinking was there were no timetables, plans, or even general outlines. There was at least discussion on the possibility of a return this year. Perhaps the most promising element of this was that there have been talent that have had matches pitched to them involving Hayter in the event she returns. Thus far, those that we've spoken to close to her in AEW are confident that return is in the cards. Fightful has reached out to Jamie Hayter to confirm the information directly, but didn't hear back.
That's more than
Now,
what we've had recently.
now, one thing that is very interesting here. Did you see that Mercedes Moné issued an open challenge on
Yeah.
to anybody that's not Britt Baker?
Hmm.
Now, the most logical person there would be Jamie Hayter because she's
What?
Britt's best friend. However, I think that they should hold off. I don't know. It's one of them. Like the pop that she gets if she returns at All In would be fucking monolithic.
Yeah.
Um, but also, I think if she's good to go, like get her back. like ASAP. They miss her so much.
Also, we can have Jamie and Mina.
Yes, Jamie and Mariah.
Yeah, but Mariah's kind of engaged at All In, but like,
I mean, yeah, we could also. That's true. We could Jamie. I mean, we could have just Jamie a murder and Saraya. That'd be nice.
that'd be so good.
Or Jamie versus Emmy Sakura, so Emmy gets to wrestle at Wembley. That'd be nice.
Oh, yeah, and they wrestle such good matches as well.
But yeah, it sounds like things are moving in the right direction for Jamie. As I say, don't hope she doesn't rush back. Hope she's good. If she's good to go, we'll have to get her back like ASAP, please, because I miss her so much.
Do you have any other news?
I have a preview of the G1 and Burning Heart. So, shall we talk about Burning Heart first?
Yes.
And then we'll close on the preview of the G1.
Yeah.
So we went on the 21st of June to Burning Heart at the Liverpool Olympia, which was promoted by our good friends, the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah.
It was a very fun show, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
There was a lot
really good.
There was a lot of people who have since like done quite a lot of cool stuff. But I'll just run us through the match. So first of all, they had the man that everyone's been talking about, Joe Hendry, defeating
that was so good.
Defeating some local jobber.
How dare you put some respect on his name?
He basically said he was going to wrestle one of the local lads, and Critchy came out.
Shot a shot.
Critchy doesn't even have a purple bin, I heard. I don't know why I'm inciting violence from Critchy. It's just he had a good showing against Joe Hendry. Did that?
It was amazing.
Proud of him. Good lads. But Joe Hendry did beat him. But it was fun. It was nice to see Joe Hendry. It was nice to see Critchy. We got a picture with him after, didn't we?
Yeah.
Next up, Leon Slater defeated Connor Mills in an absolute banger.
That was so good.
Connor Mills is great, and so is Leon Slater.
He really is.
As we know.
That was my first time seeing Connor Mills, I think.
I've only seen him once, which was at Red Pro last year, and I was like, this guy can fucking go.
He's facing Driller at OTT, and they're making a really big deal of that.
I think that this time next year, a lot more people are going to be aware of. Maybe New Japan. I was thinking like, don't know, like I feel like a lot more people are going to be aware of Connor Mills. This time next year because he feels like he's on the cusp of something. He'd
be good in like the best of the Super Juniors, though.
He would. I think him, Ian Skinner's another one. I think people need to keep an eye on. And
right. Well, on Saturday at I think it's 7. Infamous are showing Ian Skinner versus Jack Knudsen on a watch along. Please tune in and watch it because it was amazing.
I'll probably catch you up on it, but I'll definitely be watching that match. Also, Ian Skinner had a banger with Leon Slater in Sub Pro last month, which again, I think that's on their YouTube now. So you should probably check that out. That's very good.
Sub Pro's date's been moved to the 21st as well.
It has. So Leon Slater defeated Connor Mills in a really fun match, really good. As I say, Connor Mills is just fucking great, isn't he? And so Leon Slater. We had a 6-way scramble match, which was all of the champions from.
That was wild.
All the
champions.
Well, yeah, a champion from each of the local promotions, and Ravy Davey was also there. And it was MVK, who was the TNT Ignition champion, defeating Isaac North, who is the Infamous champion, Luke Jacobs, who is the Infamous Promotions champion, Ravy Davey, who wasn't a champion, RPD, who was the Wrestle Island champion.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I couldn't think of that then for a second. And some other guy who's the Atomic champion called Scott Owen.
Boo!
friend of the podcast, Scott Owen.
Friend of the frenemy of the podcast.
I know he's friend of the podcast.
I
I,
know, I know.
I bump into him every now and again on my lunch break and make him fucking jump out his skin because he never sees me come. Um, Next up, we had Danny Luna defeating Lizzie Evo in a really good match.
Oh,
Current Rev Pro British Women's Champion, I should add.
she was very
Um,
good, but my heart
Danny
was
was
broken.
was that the first time you've seen Danny Luna?
Yeah.
Oh, she's ace. She was in NXT UK. She had some serious bangers over there.
Hmm.
And she's also in TNA now. And I know how
Yeah,
much
she
you love
is.
TNA.
It's the best.
Next up, this match was fantastic. We had the GYV, the veterans,
So
um,
good.
versus Sanity. It's an absolute banger.
Damo was
Um,
terrifying.
Damo's a sweetheart.
He
So,
was scary though.
but so's also friend of the podcast, Axel Tischer.
Axel Tischer.
Who I'm gutted I didn't actually get to say hello to because every
We
time I
did.
went, every
He was
time I
really
went to
nice.
see, he's lovely. He's a really nice fella. Every time I went over to try and go and see them, there was too big a queue, and I was like, oh,
They remembered us from Strong Style.
did they?
Yeah.
Ah, I,
I
I
mean,
imagine
it's hard not to because Matthew was the only child there.
that's true. So, he was 16 though.
Yeah, it's fine.
I, yeah, because when I saw Axel at, I'm guessing it would have been Strong Style. He remembered me from when we interviewed him, and
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
it was mad that he remembered me like months later. It was like, yeah, it's a lovely fella. Um, Next up, we had Ricky Shane Page defeating Sam Gradwell in a no DQ match.
This was insane.
Ricky Shane Page threw Sam Gradwell off the balcony
That was
through
very
a
good.
table, or was it through like old people? He
It was
also
through
like
loads of people, and then there was
there,
loads of doors.
there was a grotty door spot where Ricky Shane Page chokeslammed Gradwell off the top rope through a door.
Yeah.
But it was
And
like
the door
against the
sort of like
ropes.
bent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was against leaning on the rope, but like really loosely, and it sort of like just bounced and then cracked.
Yeah.
We got Robbie X, Actual Cryptid, and Zachary Wentz defeating a pair of shitwolves like us, Jim.
Yeah.
This was really, really fun match.
It was.
I'd go as far as saying I think that might have been my match of the night.
Yeah.
It was very fun. Um, and in the main event, we got Trent Seven versus Mark Haskins, which was an absolute banger as well.
I actually
Uh,
no, you see, I'd say that was match of the night. I really enjoyed the
that,
last
that
match.
that was very good. The whole show was really good from start to end.
Yeah.
Um, it
It was
looks
a really
like
nice vibe as well.
yeah. Um, it looks so the whole thing with Ben and Hart was made by the wrestlers for the fans. You could definitely tell it was like it had that vibe. Um,
Hmm.
they also had like a lot of like familiar faces as far as like local talent goes. They
Yeah.
had Tom Campbell from Cultaholic on ring announcing duty,
He
who
was really lovely.
is great, and he had a little chat with us after. Lovely man,
Yeah.
absolute sweetheart. Um, and yeah, it was just a very good show.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know when they're going to tour again next because they haven't announced anything, but I'll
Can't
probably
wait
try and
though.
get to it. Yeah, it looks like the
They
other shows
debuted
they
those tag belts and they were gorgeous.
yeah, which Robbie X and Zachary Wentz won
Shocked
on
me
the
that.
following show. But yeah, it looks like they're gonna be like making it a reoccurring thing. So I'm excited to see what happens
That was
next.
that was the best though, because like when they announced it, the ref who had just refed Sanity and
it
Thingy's match, he didn't even know that they were gonna announce it and he just
was
lost his shit.
it
It was so
was
good.
it, it was after Robbie X and
Yeah,
went
yeah. Yeah. But
what
like the ref from that match like lost his shit and was like, "Did you guys know?"
they're nice belts as well. Like they
Yeah,
look a bit
gorgeous.
they look kind of like the TNA tag titles. I
Yeah.
thought big fan of them.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll be checking them out. God knows when the next show is, but as I say, we'll be keeping an eye on it and
Yeah.
seeing what.
Definitely worth it for 50 quid
Yeah, yeah, it was a
for like ringside.
yeah, yeah, it was very good show, very good view. Um, yeah, we'll do again for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and finally, you can probably tell, my voice is about to go. Let's talk about the G1, which starts on the 20th of July. So when this podcast goes out in a week's time. Um, so first of all, let's talk about A block because we've got. I'll just talk the matches from day one there, and you'll glean who's going to be in the blocks.
Yeah,
So
go on.
we've got Naito versus Shingo, Sanada. This is A block, by the way. Sanada versus Jake Lee, Great O'Khan versus Zack Sabre Jr.,
Oh, that'll be
Gabe
good.
Kidd versus Evil, um, and
Shota Umino versus
Callum Newman,
yeah, that'll be
which
amazing.
I made up Callum Newman's in the G1. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Uh, Over on B block, we've got ELP versus Hanare,
I think that'll be a
Goto.
secret banger that, like that'll be
That will
like,
be you know what else will? This one. Goto versus Jeff Cobb.
yeah.
Yes, please.
No, what about
Yota,
Suji versus Konosuke Takeshita?
absolutely. Yota Tsuji versus Konosuke Takeshita. Yuya Amera versus David Finlay. And Ren Narita versus Bolton Oleg.
I don't know
Um,
who that is.
he's a young lion who's a big murder Russian. Who
Okay,
beat Tanahashi to get into the tournament. Like he was
sure.
tag, he was tagging with Tanahashi and Yano. He was the 6-man tag champs, and then he beat Tanahashi to qualify for the G1.
I'm just
Uh,
looking at this now, and on
mhm.
day 3, Callum Newman's in so much danger.
Is he wrestling Shingo?
No, he's wrestling Zack Sabre Jr.
God. I mean, I think when he wrestles Shingo, that's when he's in his truest danger. Let's be honest now. But yeah, very very stacked G1 there.
I would say if you
It's
don't
gotta be.
watch it live, we cover a lot of it on Tommy Jackson's streams. Like we watch a lot of the matches back. So they're always fun to watch on there and nice to discuss with people. We do little polls like predicting the matches as well.
Yeah. Who do you think? Who do you have as winning it out of that
Oh,
so far?
Sheppy Zach.
I think the logical
Sheppy Zach
person.
or Suji?
Well, I was gonna say the logical two people are Zack Sabre Jr. or Yota Tsuji.
Yeah,
Um, but because New Japan doesn't know what logic it is if it bit it on the arse,
yeah.
I'm gonna say that Evil's probably gonna win it.
It'd be nice for Jeff Cobb as well.
Jeff Cobb ain't winning it.
I know.
I
They should
wouldn't
have
be
pulled the trigger on him like 3 years ago and they didn't.
I wouldn't be shocked if Sanada or Evil won it. But it should be Zack Sabre Jr. or
Uh,
Yota Tsuji. I'm with you there.
be wild because no um Kenny's the only Gaijin that's won it, isn't he?
No,
Is he not?
I don't think so.
You
Um,
sure?
let me double check. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. You're making me doubt myself now, Faye. You know who was in the G1 though? Who
Oh,
get his flowers? Rick Rude.
Eddie Kingston.
Rick Rude was fucking great in the G1. Um, FYI. Right. So here we go. You know what? Actually, you're right. It is. Kenny's the only Gaijin who's won.
Yeah, because
I
when
was I was
when
getting it
Cobb
confused with all of the other shit.
yeah.
Um,
So that means
Sorry,
that Osprey's never won the G1.
no, he should have won it one of the years that Kota won it, I think, or one of the years that Carter won it.
Well, I think
They
that year
it was
where
20
Jeff
it was
was
2022, wasn't it? That I think Osprey should have won it, whereas Osprey Carter final.
well, yeah, but I think it was Cobb that was tied with Okada on points, and
Hmm.
it should have been Cobb that won it that year.
Oh. I mean, it makes sense for Zack Sabre Jr., doesn't it?
Yeah, And if you're putting him as your top guardian, then you need to put your investment in him, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, because let's face it,
Few and far between, innit?
it's Naito and no one fucking else.
Just put Driller in there.
Um, I'm surprised Driller isn't involved in it, to be honest. Genuinely, yeah. Um,
I would like to see Driller like fucking kick David Finlay
I
into the stratosphere.
I do think that Driller might win Best of the Super Juniors next year
Beast of the Super Juniors. What Driller is.
because they've been getting him doing bigger and bigger shit, haven't they, each year?
Yeah.
Like this year, he did a lot better than he did obviously in previous years.
Mhm.
And it'd just be nice for Driller to win it.
Right. Who's your wrestler of the month?
I mean, there's only one person it can be, isn't there? And that's that fucking cowboy piece of shit,
I was gonna do that.
cowboy Psycho Mike. Um, you thought I was going to say Hangman then, didn't you?
Yeah, that's who I'm going with.
Nah, Psycho Mike.
Nah, Cowboys all around, and obviously Juice Robinson as the secret third
I
option.
mean, yeah, Juice Robinson.
It's been ages since we've been able to have Juice Robinson as the secret third option.
Now that he's back,
I'm
he's
so annoyed. Oh, let me touch on this. They've took the belts off Bang Bang Gang because they're not letting them do the Freebird rule,
sorry.
apparently. Have they took the belts off Bang Bang Gang because they're not letting them do the Freebird rule?
I don't know. I thought he just said that they can't. What, the Ring of Honor ones, or
The trios belts?
I don't think so.
Or have I just read that on a shitty news story?
I feel like you're just making shit up, Faye. I'll be honest with you.
Oh,
Uh,
never mind then. Don't worry about it.
I don't know, unless it's something that happened on Collision this week, which I haven't seen any spoilers for.
No.
But
Okay, well, just
or
leave
Ring
that
of
as it
Honor,
is.
but
Maybe it's
who
Ring of
knows?
Honor. But yeah, I think,
I
yeah.
know, I know they did the Bang Bang Gang versus the Dark Order on Ring of Honor because
Oh, really? I'd like
yeah,
that.
because Juice Robinson was cocking his leg up on John Silver, and it was like this is just so fucking unhinged.
I'm gonna
Uh,
have to watch that. Oh my God. I'd
yeah, I
like
think
to
with
see some mystery wrestling.
who?
Juice.
Oh God, imagine.
Oh, him against Psycho Mike.
We couldn't handle Juice versus Psycho Mike. It'd be too much.
The
I'd like I'd like
Cowboys.
I'd like to see. Well, I've just realized the whole fucking point of me bringing up Mystery Wrestling was to promote the next show, which is in September, and I forgot to fucking do that. Like an absolute cowboy.
So what date is
Um,
it, Jay?
it is. Let me find out because I've lost the fucking page. I don't know. Like an absolute idiot. Uh, Mystery Wrestling 10 is September the 8th at 10 p.m. UK time over at
Love that.
twitch.tv Evil Uno. Uh, Currently, he has announced nobody who's wrestling on it, and he's not announced his commentator partner. That will come soon. I would like Juice to be his co-commentator.
Oh, yeah. Or Mox.
Um,
Mox is
or
great on
Mox.
commentary.
So far he's had on the first show it was Evil Uno and Dalton Castle. On the second show
It
it
was Ethan
was
Page, wasn't it? Did they have him at one
he's had
point?
Ethan Page on one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
On Mystery Wrestling 8 it was Chuck Taylor. As I said, the last one was Cool Hand Ange. Nyla Rose was on Mystery Wrestling 2. Mystery Wrestling 5 was Excalibur and he was half cut and it was hilarious.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Was it
it
like
was
PWG?
no, it was just hilarious because like he was he was he was half cut and there's a bit during one of the matches where they're just talking about going to get some crisps after the match while some spots happening where it's like Psycho Mike's just slamming Orange Cassidy's head into the apron over and over again. And they're just having this conversation about going to get some Doritos after the match.
I love that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else has been on commentary on there. The
Matthew will love
Butcher,
mystery wrestling. I can already
he,
tell.
he absolutely will. The Butcher was on commentary.
Has Daniel Garcia ever wrestled on mystery wrestling?
Yes, but I don't know which show because it's a mystery.
That just means that I'm going to have to watch them all.
Yeah, Daniel Garcia has, Orange Cassidy has, Brandon Cutler has, Eddie Kingston has, obviously Evil Uno has, and Yuta was on one as well.
My boy.
Yeah, he wrestled. He wrestled in a Falls Count Anywhere but the ring match.
Oh my God.
So basically, him and his opponent were just rolling each other up on the floor. It was, and then he just like grabbed the mic after the match and was like, "That's the weirdest match I've ever had in my entire life." So confused. Yeah, he gets loads of like random Japanese people as well, and like quite a lot of TNA people. Like he has Josh Alexander on this one. He had Jordan
Get
Grace
Leon
on.
Slater on there.
I reckon he will. I reckon he will be on the next one. I wouldn't be surprised.
We'll get
He had,
Harley. Part of a developmental.
Yeah, could do. He had Jordan Grace on one as well. She wrestled Miyu Yamashita, which was filth. Who else has he had?
She's fighting Lizzie this weekend.
She is, and then she's fighting Shayna Baszler at Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Which we didn't even fucking talk about Bloodsport. God damn it!
I know.
But we'll be reviewing Bloodsport on the next one. Anyway,
yes,
we are sidetracked and rambling, and my voice is giving up on me. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Faye, what shows you're going to Pro? You know.
I will be now. Now that it's moved. I'm at the football match this Saturday. I'm going to Wrestle Island on Sunday. I have Wrestle Atomic in August.
Yeah.
Infamous in October. And Infinite in
off the page have something coming up
off the page have one in August, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to that because money for All In.
Yeah. Well, I'll
I panic bought my Atomic ticket because it sells out really quickly now.
That doesn't sound like you.
I panic bought 4 tickets.
That doesn't sound like you.
It doesn't sound like me at all. It's usually 7.
Yeah. I will be at All In and Rev Pro that weekend.
TNT, July 27th.
I'm probably
Effie
not going to get a great deal else, unfortunately, because money.
That's fair. I do want to go and see Effie and Ali though, because they're fighting FTM.
I'd like to see Effie and Artie. Oh, damn it, that'd be fun.
And it's on Liverpool Pride Day as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I would like to go see Effie and Ali, but unfortunately.
But they're also on the kids show in the day, which are cheaper tickets.
But also money.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, there is the option to see them like earlier on in the day.
Man's bare skin, so he's fucking saving up for All In. Yeah, we will be doing a podcast before we go to All In, so
absolutely.
I'm sure we'll be previewing the shit out of that. Probably do predictions as well, because why not?
I'm gonna be doing one with Lewis next week, I think, just to talk over Infinite, which was amazing. And obviously some other shows.
Lewis did invite me to join that and drop in a TNFaye.
Yeah, great. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll make sure I get a doozy. But yeah, on that note, thanks for joining us.
I'm mentally prepare myself for that.
I mean, yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. Enjoy your wrestling, like what you like, don't be a dick, all that lovely stuff. We'll see you next month. Bye.
Bye.